How's it going? We're gonna do some science experiments here tonight. This evening. Let's add a little bit of hydrochloric acid to our system here. Look at that. I'm gonna turn this off, see what that looks like without that glow there. There we go. A little bit of hydrochloric acid. Gonna make everything look a little bit red. It's kind of pretty. A few more drops. And I'm gonna cut this off. Let that relax. And I'm gonna set up another system over here on the right. I might try to get a few drops of, let's try a few drops of base here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. While that's cooking, I think. What's going on, Nate Diggity? No, Isaiah, I can't do elephant toothpaste. Can't do it. Sorry, buddy. I'm in my basement. I don't have the materials. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll get in my lab. Maybe I'll get in my lab one day and give it a shot. We can do the color separation experiment, though. I guess maybe elephant toothpaste would be fun. How you doing there, Tier? How's everyone doing tonight? I think I added a bit too much base over here. I'm going to just mix that up. There we go. Let's make it acidic. I'm going to add a bunch of hydrochloric acid. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of hydrochloric acid. Is that going to be enough? We got a little rainbow action going on. Just a flash of it. A couple more drops. Good to hear it there, Tier. Hello, Yanni. How you doing? Hey, thanks for the gift last time, Yanni. That was really, really special. Really special. Hey, someone from Kenya. How you doing there, Cheese Louise? Cheese Louise, I should say. All right, let's turn that off there. Someone from Brazil? Yeah, drop the flag in the chat where you're from. Over here, I'm from the United States. Okay, we're going to let that cool down a little bit. Good to hear it, Chi Louis. Got someone else from Brazil. I got another flask set up over here. And to this flask, someone from North Korea. Nice, welcome. Mwafis, I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. Into this flask over here, I'm going to add a stir bar. We'll get that thing going. Another one from, man, lots of folks from Brazil. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm going to put in some Evian water, okay? We're going to go Evian water. You'll notice, where does it say right here? It says pH 7.2. So if I put this stuff in, this should probably turn my universal indicator a green color. There's one. Let's put the next one in. Someone from Japan, very nice. Ukraine, great. Hey, No Limit. Have you seen my Ukraine flag video? Check them out in my shorts. I got a video where I make a. It's basically for Ukraine. The video is. I do an experiment. We got someone from Taiwan. Welcome aboard. Very nice. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of universal indicator to this system. And universal indicator changes color depending upon pH, which tells you how acidic or basic something is. If it's green, it's going to be neutral, pH 7, which is what I'm expecting this to be. Because, I just added Evian water. And, Evian is reported right here. You can see here. Let me turn this light on so we can just see it just a bit for a second. You can see that Evian water is reported right here to have a pH of 7.2. So let's see if they're telling us the truth. All right, here's my universal indicator. Let's add a little bit. Someone from the USA, Fire Truck Dude, and we got Joey. We got 360 No Scope, Wendy Z from South Korea, Joey Baker USA. All right, here we go. Here's a universal indicator, which you can see is green, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to this water here, which is Evian water, which they say is green, and sure enough, they say it's pH 7.2, so I'd expect it to be green in the Evian water. Muafis, I am adding universal indicator, which is a mixture of 3 different indicators. Yanni's from Austria, Chelsea from the United States, Sheriko from the U.S. Looks like we got someone here. DeAndre from South Africa. Great to hear. Jeremiah from Mars. I love it. We got RXBX from China. The diarrhea tornado, says Mark. Wendy from the USA. Someone from Kosovo and Albania. We got them from all over the place, man. Very cool. Very cool. Wendy from China. Afro Block from Italy. Welcome aboard, people. Welcome aboard. All right, let's start messing around with this. Let's start messing around. I'm going to start adding a little bit of someone from the United Kingdom. So to this system, I'm going to start adding acid. So the pH should drop. Here we go. Let's add a drop of acid, hydrochloric acid. 1 drop there. Let's add another drop. We got someone from London, England. Saul, welcome aboard. Wendy, you're from all over the place. Russian Empire and from England all at the same time. I'm going to add another drop of hydrochloric acid. It's the same acid that's found in your stomach. It's just that this stuff is like 100 to 1,000 times more concentrated than what's in your stomach. Young girl from USA. What's up there, Classic? You'll notice that this green color is slightly getting yellow. My universal indicator, Sean, it's a mixture of thymol blue, methyl red, bromothymol blue, and phenolphthalein. So that it's a mixture of all those. True Soldier from Tokyo, welcome aboard. So now we're down to a pH of 6. I'm going to keep adding some acid here. As I add the acid, that pH should continue to drop. Hello, Alicia. Glad you think I'm doing something cool. Ezekiel, welcome aboard. Hello, Lena. Luna, welcome. Welcome. Happy birthday, Luna. Hello, Sonia. Harry from Massachusetts, welcome aboard. I apologize. I can't read that language. It looks Korean to me, and I apologize if that is not Korean. So we're down to about pH 4 or 5 right now, I'm thinking. I'm going to continue to add acid here. 2, 3, 4 drops. Boy, this system's buffered, which means the pH is changing very slowly. We're out of here, man. We are going to hide this user. Yep. There we go. Yeah, I don't, you put some nasty stuff in the chat, I'm gonna block you pretty quickly, just so you know that. It's all right, we got some pH going on here. Elite G-Man, this is universal indicator, which changes color depending upon pH. And so you can see that both of these are red, which means that the pH is 3. Indeed, Sean, it is a pH test. All right, Mufa. Elon, come on, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Saying it looks cool. Appreciate that. Elon Lamusk gave me $2, which I greatly appreciate. So on this side over here, I'm going to start adding base, which was asked for me to do. So I'm going to start adding some drops of base. Notice that this system over here is not being stirred. So I'm just going to add a few drops here. We're going to see what happens. So someone wants to ask why sodium is not used in neutralizing acidity in our stomach. Well, it's a very nice base. So sodium metal does turn water basic, but it also produces hydrogen gas while it reacts with water, making it basic. I'm adding a base to this flask as well now. And hydrogen gas is flammable. And, sodium metal, that's kind of some nasty stuff. Yeah, that's right, DeAndre. So you'll notice over here where the base has been dropped in. It's more dense than the surrounding. Afro Block, thank you for the euro. Much appreciated. Thank you. So you know that the base is more dense than the surrounding fluid because it sinks to the bottom. More dense fluids sink in less dense fluid. Let's put it over here so we can get a little view of it here. And the base has a high pH, so that's what's happening here. But the acid up here and the base down here that I've added, it will react with each other. That's right, Elite G-Man. It's violet, where the where the base is. Jeremiah says they love some tasty flammable hydrogen, but the acid and the base will react with each other. And we can kind of see that happening over here. You know, I added base over here, but down here at the bottom, instead of it being violet, it looks kind of yellowish, which means, well, the acid has been neutralized. It's pulled to a more neutral pH, and the base has been consumed. Let's add a little bit more base. We're gonna add a little bit more base over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. It's kind of neat. You can kind of see it almost looks like smoke rings when I first add it. And I'm going to leave that set over here. We got a bunch of different colors, which is kind of fun when that happens. I got like a pH of 3, a pH of 6, and a pH of 10. Hello there, Samuel Dawson. I'm going to go ahead and spin this one over here and see if we have more acid or base present. They are reacting with each other and neutralizing each other, and it looks like everything is going to end up yellow. So we have a slight excess of acid. Is it hot? Muafiz, it is not. The reaction does release some energy as heat, but most of that is just absorbed by the water. So the temperature of the water goes up, but just a little bit. So we're at pH 6 over here. Yeah, it does look a little bit like that, Elite. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding drops of acid over here. Hydrochloric acid, same stuff that's found in your stomach. Excuse me, that's a base. I didn't add acid, that's a base. Apologize for that. All right, now I'm going to start adding acid, and you'll see that violet color just... Oh, that was cool, that violet color disappear. Thank you there, DeAndre. And as I've added an excess of acid, our pH is quite low now. We're at like a pH of 3. Check out what's going on over here in the static system. It's like a rainbow, man. It's like a static rainbow. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like a... Look at that. That is just pretty. We're seeing the whole rainbow there. How you doing there, ANK Bob? All right. Let's see what we can do over here. Over here on this side, I'm going to start adding base. And we're going to see what happens. Here we go. It should neutralize the acid. Come on, baby. Another drop of base. Taste the rainbow. This is not a rainbow I'd want to taste. That's because one of the dyes in the indicator system is a laxative. Hello. Hello there. It looks like cherry and rice. I apologize. I can't read the symbols. I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to start adding some acid now to this system that's basic. And look at that gorgeous color change. Come on, man. Hello there, Apex. Isn't that pretty? Tasty neutralized salt water. You got it there, Jeremiah. All right, so I've added an excess of acid, which is going to pull us down to a pH of 3. Now I'm going to add base, and that should neutralize the acid, and that will start raising our pH. Elon, thank you, man. Much appreciated. Not necessary, but I definitely appreciate that gift. Thank you so much. Thank you there, Kevin. It does look edible, but I wouldn't do it, Messiah. All right, so we're at low pH. Let's start adding some base. If I can perfectly neutralize it, it'll turn green. There's one drop. Let's see what happens. It looks like we're still red, so we're still at pH 3 or below. So I'm going to add another drop of base. Let's see what happens. How you doing there, Lori? I see those rainbows in the unicorn there, Cherry. Afro, thank you for the euro. I appreciate that. It's not necessary at all, but I definitely appreciate it. Here we go. Let's look at this. We're at pH 5. So notice, as I added base to this system that was acidic, the pH starts to rise. So we're now at pH 5. I'm trying, Jeremiah. Jeremiah wants green. We're going to try to go for it. Hey, Cool Stumble. How's it going? Hello there, Dinner. Hey, thank DJ Edits. DJ Edits just subscribed. I appreciate that. Come on, Pablo. There you go, Pablo. It's blue for you, if that's what you're talking about. It looks like I overshot. Hello there, Ollie. Hello there, Blockbug. So, unfortunately, I overshot neutral. So, you know, we're at like a pH 9 right now. I'm going to try to back up the train, lower the pH now by adding acid. Hello there, Emily. All right, here we go. Tannish, kind of. It's kind of like a titration, a little bit. All right, there's a drop of acid to a high pH system. And hey, look at that. We're now at pH 8, right? We're at pH 9. I added a drop of acid, and we went to pH 8. Let's add another drop of acid, hydrochloric acid, same stuff that's found in your stomach. I'm sorry to hear that, Tanish. I see that cool emoji there, Cherry Rice. Hello, Chris. Used to be lab partners. Messiah, I don't know if you want to be slurping this up, but looks like we've gone down to a pH of 6. I'm going to try to get this to pH 7. So it's slightly acidic. We just got to increase the pH a little bit to get it to neutral. So what I'm going to try to do, here's the base I'm going to add. If you look up here at the top, I'm going to try to just put half a drop. You see it? I've added the drop. You can see it there to the side. And that's a small drop, and it still looks like too much, man. I keep overshooting. Kitty Cat, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate that. I'm going to try it again. We're going to try to go half a drop here. Now I'm adding acid. That might do it. Just a little. Come on, baby. Get in the green. We want the green. I think this might do it. This might do it. Hello, CJ. We got it. Holy bazonga, says Jeremiah. We got the green. We have neutralized our system. We got neutral pH over here. Finally, huh? That takes a little bit. It's hard to hit green in this system. When it's actively rotating here. What I want to show you over here, look at this. Look at it's easy to get green in the static system. Look at that, man. The static system just looks so beautiful. So pretty. See down there at the bottom is your pH 10. And as you slowly move up, the blue, that's going to be a pH 8 or 9. And then you got just that thin line of green at pH 7. Then you got pH 6, pH 4 and 5, and then pH 3. Hey, Jackson, please stop spamming the comments or I'm going to block you. Please stop spamming. Hey, Elite Man, thank you. Yeah, he's gone. Last chance here, Jackson. See you, bud. Hide this. Let's see. Put him in timeout. 24 hours. Nobody wants to see that stuff. Hey, Nugget, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. Vestal, I got rid of them for 24 hours. They can come back if they want. What chemicals are these, Tanish? So what's in this flask, actually in both flasks, is water and universal indicator. Universal indicator is also known as pH indicator, and it changes color depending upon pH, which is how acidic or basic something is. So all of the pH values are in this flask over here, which is static, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And over here, we've got a pH of 9, right? We got a green color, and that green color tells us the pH is 9. Now watch what happens when I add a little bit of acid to this system. Here we go. One little drop of acid to the neutral system, and that's going acidic, baby. How acidic is it going to go? Hey, Melissa, Messiah, please stop spamming the comments or I'll block you. So we have dropped from a pH of 7 to a pH of 5. To a pH of 5. We can tell that by looking at the color here. I'm going to add another drop of acid. And it goes. And we've gone from a pH of 5 to maybe a pH of 4, I'm going to call this. Maybe a pH of 4. Then I'm going to go another drop, and that may get us from pH of 4 down to pH of 3. And there we go. And now we're at pH 3, and if I start adding base, we should head back in the other direction. So here we go. Let's add a drop of base. It's going to start neutralizing the acid, which is going to pull us to higher pH values. Add another drop. Oh, I love it when that happens. You get a bunch of colors at once. Maybe we'll get back to green. I think we're at teal. We're at like an aqua color, which is like a pH of 8. So I just missed neutral. I'm going to add another drop of the base. That gets us to pH 9. Add another drop of base, maybe 2. That should get us to pH 10. There's your violet, folks. There's your violet. Let's turn this off. This is fun to do. Now that it's turned off, we're going to let this system kind of relax. And once that spinning kind of stops, I'm going to just add some drops of acid over here. And we're going to see if we can't get the pH tower over here. Let's just see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what happens there in the static system. There we go. You can kind of see it. It's like the red is breaking through the night. It's kind of like, I think so, Mobin. It looks a little bit like, art, like a mix of science and art. I don't know what's going to happen over here. Have no clue. It does look a little bit like a fire, Elite. Or the Aurora borealis, Jeremiah. I think you may have nailed it. It's just so beautiful to see what's happening in there. This system you can see is still spinning a little bit while this one is very static. You can see all the colors of the rainbow in this one. What do you think? Let's mix this one up, huh? Let's mix this one up over here. Here we go. Wouldn't that be cool, Mobin? I got to figure out how to do that. Making a cocktail like this. It would just be awesome. I got to figure out how that's done. Anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to mix this. Here we go. You got it, Tanish. Here we go. More acid or more base. We're going to figure it out here real quick. Or maybe it'll go green. It'll be perfectly neutral, but it's looking to me like there's a little excessive acid. How do I know that? It's yellow, which is a pH of 6, which is just below neutral, so this is going to be slightly acidic. Now, this is our static system over here. This is our active one, or our dynamic one. All right, I'm going to start adding a few drops of acid over here. The acid I'm adding is hydrochloric acid, which is the same acid that's found in your stomach. It's just, again, that this stuff is 100 to 1,000 times more concentrated than what's found in your stomach. So, actually, each drop that I'm adding has about 1/10 the amount of acid that's found in your entire stomach. All right. Now I'm going to start. T.R. Carter says they may have more potent stomach acid than the acid I'm adding. I gave Messiah a 60-second ban. We'll see if they can behave. Hey, Rosalind, thank you. I appreciate that. Here we go. What's going on over here? You think there's more acid or base present? Thank you there, Rosalind. I appreciate that. I don't know. Here we go. I'm going to add a few drops over here. A few drops of base. Let's see what goes on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see what happens with those 7 drops. Thank you there, BG88. I don't know what's going to happen. Can you buy everything you need to do this at home with kids? Leather and liquor and guns. You can. You absolutely can. Oh, come on, El Shigan. What in the world? $20 gift. That is so appreciative. Thank you. You know, these bottles, they cost me about $20 a pop. So this this live is brought to everybody by El Shigan. Thank you. And I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. But this video is brought to you by El Shigan, folks. Or I should say this live. All right. I'm trying to get back to my comments here. Here we go. Hey, nice to hear, Hijinks. Thanks there, Elite. Thank you there, Pascal. Shigan came in as the GOAT. I love it. Yeah, it does look pretty, those colors, doesn't it, Rosalind? Absolutely. Over here in this system, it looks like most of the base has been neutralized, but we can still see some wisps of the violet color. It looks like we're getting an interesting little flow pattern there. That's kind of cool looking. Let's mix this up. I think if we mix this up, I don't know if all the base will be consumed. Let's see what pH we end up at. Here we go. Here we go. Give that a little swirl. It does look like a sunset a little bit, Rosalind. I agree. And look what we got going on over here. That rainbow develops fairly quickly over here. Isn't that beautiful? The red looks like an atmosphere in the middle of a war. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't want to remind anyone of that. We don't need any of that in this world. Here we go. Let's add a drop of base. How you doing there, Frag? Good to see you. We're going to add another drop. And in 2 drops, man, we went from pH 3 to pH like 9. Crazy. How you doing there, Jace? And over here, we've got the rainbow system going on, man. The rainbow. I love it. So beautiful. Very cool. All right. Ever pH adjust these with some over-the-counter at... Dunkel, what's going on, man? I'm still working on that video you and I made together. Ever pH adjust these with some... Okay, so we got a suggestion here. Dunkel wants us to try to pH adjust these with some over-the-counter antacids. So let's do it. Let's do it. I'll put this bottle up right here. All right. We're going to get this thing spinning. And we... Hey, thanks, Leather and Liquor. Okay, so Leather and Liquor, let me tell you how you do this at home, okay? It's going to be real simple. You're not going to quite get the same effects that I get here, but nevertheless, you'll be able to do color changes with acid and bases. First, you want to buy some of this. I'm not selling this food coloring. I'm just telling people how you can do these experiments at home. The easiest way is to buy some of these food colorings that have no artificial dyes. Hello there, Kimmy, okay? These have no artificial dyes, and these behave as acid-base indicators. Now, you're not going to see, the wide variety of colors that you get with Universal Indicator, but, my favorite one is the green one. Of course, I don't have here, the green one, the green natural food dye. And if you add some of this to water and you add a little bit of vinegar, it'll change color. And if you add a little bit of ammonia or baking soda, these are different acids or bases, you're going to get these different food colorings to change a bunch of different colors. You can also boil red cabbage. And if you boil red cabbage, let's get this spinning here so we can get some experiments going. If you boil red cabbage, boiled red cabbage acts as an acid-base indicator. So that can be done as well. Yeah, Leather, if you give it a shot, come on back sometime and, tell me how it worked. Thank you there, BG. Here we go. I'm adding acid to this flask over here. And then somebody, Dunkel, asked me to try this with an over-the-counter antacid, which is what we're going to do here. I've got one right here. It's like an Alka-Seltzer tablet. We're going to pop it in there. Although I see some we'll just give it a shot anyway. Thanks there, Leather. Hope it works. Here we go. Here's your antacid tablet. In it goes. Let's see what happens. Oh, my goodness. Tanish, thank you so much for the gift. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Tanish, and I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. Got someone here from Ohio. Hello there, Blocked. All right. You can see that our Alka-Seltzer tablet is, it's actively producing bubbles, isn't it? And that's because those bubbles that are being produced, there's a chemical reaction that releases carbon dioxide. Oh, look at it spinning up there at the top. That's kind of fun. That looks kind of cool. Look at that. Can you hear it? Can you hear it fizzing? Yeah, I hear it fizzing. What's kind of cool is carbon dioxide reacts pretty well with sodium hydroxide. And that's the base that I've been adding. So this stuff is sodium hydroxide. You see all those bubbles there? Those are bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. I'm going to start adding some, so we can see it a little better. I'm going to start adding some sodium hydroxide to this system here. And we're going to watch what happens with the carbon dioxide bubbles. Here we go. In goes. Do you notice that the bubbles are decreasing? The amount of bubbles are being decreased. Now, some of that's because, of course, the tablet has dissolved, but also a lot of that is because this stuff is like a CO2 scrubber. Sodium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide, and it changes it into a salt that dissolves in the water. And indeed, this is something that chemists are actively researching, because you are probably aware that carbon dioxide in our atmosphere can cause some problems. Right now I'm adding acid back to the system just because it's beautiful. So carbon dioxide in our atmosphere can indeed cause problems. And you'll notice as I'm adding the acid back come CO2 bubbles. What do you get from the products of sodium hydroxide and carbon dioxide? You get a salt called sodium carbonate. And so, with the CO2 in the atmosphere, that's, causes the warming of our planet. And chemists are actively researching carbon dioxide scrubbers that remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And sodium hydroxide is something that you can use, like they can line smokestacks that release a lot of CO2 through the smokestacks. You can line those with carbon dioxide, and it will remove some, but not all, of the carbon dioxide emissions in a smokestack. There's a wide variety of technologies that, people are trying to figure out. CO2, indeed, Jigsaw. So trees are a very good carbon dioxide scrubber, which is why, it's good to, people are investigating ways to get plant material to remove the excess carbon dioxide from our atmosphere, indeed. All right, hey, let's check out the static system. Agreed, Frag. Look at that. Look at our static system. We got a little rainbow here. So what we're going to do with the static system, if you look, it's got all the pH values in it, right? All of them in one little flask. So down here at the bottom, we see our pH 10. And then we got a pH gradient. As you go up a little bit, it looks blue, which is going to be like pH 8 and 9. And then you got that thin line at pH 7. That's our neutral line. And if we go up a little further, look at that big honking pH 6 section. pH 6 is going to be your yellow region. pH 4 and 5, that's going to look orange. And then at the top, you have, hey, Reaper, what's going on? You have pH 3. And what's intensely interesting about this is you've got pH 10 at the bottom, and you've got pH 7 at the top. Why is this intensely interesting? Well, it's intensely interesting because the pH scale goes by powers of 10. And what that tells me is the difference in acid concentration between the top and the bottom. Well, that's going to be 10 times 10, 7 times, because the difference between 3 and 7 is 10. And again, the pH scale goes by powers of 10. So the difference in acid concentration up here at the top is 10 times 10, 7 times greater than the acid concentration at the bottom. Well, what is 10 times 10, 7 times? It's 10 million. So in the same flask, we have a difference in acidity from the top to the bottom in our pH gradient of 10 million times. Now, which is more? Do we have more acid or do we have more base? Well, the way we figure that out is we're just going to mix it all up. If they're perfectly balanced, we're going to be green. If there's more acid, the resulting color will be yellow, orange, or red. And if there's more base, the resulting color will be aqua, blue, or violet. Let's find out. Here we go. I'll tell you what, before I mix it up, I'm going to do a few experiments over here, and I want you to drop in the chat the heart emoji color that you think this flask will end up when I mix it up. Let's see what folks think. Get your bets in, folks. This is just a gentleman and ladies bet, and whoever else is joining in. Drop in the chat. Agreed there, Reaper. Drop in the chat the heart emoji of the color you think this will be, like Jigsaw Life. First one in is going with violet. Jeremiah's going with yellow. Worth taking a sip, says Frag. Reaper's going with yellow. Yeah, that kind of does make sense. Okay, let me just add a few drops over here of base, just to give us something to look at while people get their votes in. We're going to give you about 20 more seconds. You're on the clock. Reaper's going yellow. Leon's going orange. Messiah is going blue. Kylie is going orange. Messiah is getting that blue in. Jeremiah is going yellow. That blue got pretty. Let's get some blue for you then there, Reaper. Come on, let's get a few more drops in here. I'm going to add some base here, see if we can get some blue going on over here for Reaper. Messiah is saying the blue. All right, here we go. Let's do it, folks. Here we go. Let her rip. I think the yellow's going to go too, but look at that gorgeous mix. And sure enough, yellows have it. The yellows have it. I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Because there was that big swath of pH 6. Huh. I wonder if that's the way it goes. I'm going to find out here. We're going to see if that's just the way it is. Like if the color it ends up is this swath of color in the tube, that's the largest. Let's find out. I don't know. Sorry, Messiah. We went a little lower than blue. I agree, Reaper. It was really a pretty mix for sure. That gold shine. Frag is liking the gold shine. All right. We got that nice and red. I'm going to turn this stir bar off. I'm going to let the system still spinning. I'm going to turn it off for a bit and let it kind of settle down. And I'll play around with this for a little bit while we're waiting for this to stop spinning so much. So here we go. It was rainbowy magic, says Kylie. Indeed. All right, here we go. What am I adding over here? Oh, I added some base. A little more base. Let's start adding some hydrochloric acid. Come on, baby. Let's see what happens. Let's just rifle it in here. There's a big squirt of acid over there. Oh, looks like I neutralized it. It's like ice blue at the bottom. Jeremiah, there's your green, bud. I think I got a green for you. Come on, baby. What if I mix the most acidic container with the most basic? You guys want to do that? Let's do that. We can do that here real quick. So I'll go ahead and this is the most acidic. This one, excuse me, I'm going to make the most basic. I got to fire in a bunch of base here to make it happen. That's not quite. That's blue. We got to get to violet, so I got to squirt in a little more. There we go. We got it. We got the most basic and the most acidic. Frag is saying you'll get neutral. That's a great guess, and that's what I'm guessing too, but just recognize that this concentration of base might be different than this concentration of acid. But we're going to find out. It's an easy way to find out. Is just mixing them together. Here we go. Let me get a different flask so I can stick it there in the middle so you can watch this. This is kind of fun. All right. I get 2 new droppers. Oh, let's get this flask here. This will work. Pardon me. Pop that right there in the middle. Okay. Here we go. Pulling, you'll notice over here on the right, I'm pulling some out. I'm also pulling some out over here on the left. So we're going to mix together the purple and the red. Purple and the red. Purple and the red. Purple and the red. Keep going. It looks like the base, well, it looks like the base is slightly more concentrated. We got an aqua color, yeah? So we got an aqua color, which, if we look at our pH scale, that's a pH of 8. So I took some pH 3 and pH 10, it made pH 8. That tells me this is probably a little more concentrated. And so if we want to get this to green, to be neutral, I'm just going to add a few more squirts of the red to sort of balance the acidity, the acid with, and there we go. And there you got your green. Isn't that cool though? I mean, you can mix something that's purple with something that's red, and you end up getting something that's green, which I think is really cool. So thank you for that suggestion for the experiment to do. Really fun experiment to do. I agree, Reaper. It's so much fun, man. Okay, here we go. This is ready to roll. We're gonna see if we can't get our rainbow tower again. So I'm gonna add in drops of base. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'm going to leave it at 8 and let's see what happens, okay? That's going to take some time for this to develop, so we're just going to let this go. And over here, I'm going to just start fiddling around with the dynamic system while we wait for this thing to do its thing. All right? So here we go. Hey, welcome aboard, my boy. You can already start to see it developing over here, guys. Look at that. Come on, baby. That's beautiful. That is just gorgeous. That happens so quickly. I agree, Reaper. Hey, thanks there, Reaper. That is so cool, man. Look at that. That rainbow happens so fast. It really is pretty. And it's kind of getting static now. Yeah, I wish I'd have had the camera on that. I wish I'd have left the camera on that so we could have seen it develop, because it really happened really fast. I agree, Reaper. Hello there, Jackson. Okay, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to give this a shot. So, yeah, we're doing some chemistry there, SRA 3J. So, what color do you think it's going to be when I mix it all up? Put it in the chat. Put your heart emoji in the chat, the color you think. If you think it's going to be red after I mix everything up, put a red heart in the chat. Think it's going to be an orange? Put an orange heart in the chat. Think it's going to be yellow? Yellow is usually what it is. Put your yellow heart in the chat. Look at that thin line of green, man. Just a real thin line. If you think it's going to be neutralized, thank you there, D-Clan. I appreciate that. So we got Jeremiah saying orange. We got Reese saying violet. We got Jackson going orange. SRA 3J going orange. Reaper is hedging the bet. Green or orange. Janelle says green. Jeremiah says yellow. Tanise says blue. Bella says orange. Jeremiah changed their mind. Baratendre, says blue. Jackson orange. Local vampire violet. Frag yellow. Jeremiah going orange or yellow. All right. Declan says green. And my boy says the pH level, that glass has 3 types of pH level: acidic, which normally lemon or sourness. There we go. Kylie, orange. Local, violet. Sarah, orange. Jackson, orange. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Man, that's beautiful, though. Gosh, I don't want to mess it up. But I'm gonna, because we got to do it. My boy is going neutral, and I am going to go, I'm going orange. I'm going orange. I know my head says it should be yellow, but I'm going to go with my heart and say orange. Here we go. It's going yellow. No, what's it gonna? It's going yellow. It's totally going yellow. It's yellow, of course. It's always yellow. It's always yellow. Frag took a screenshot. Cool, man. Cool to hear it. Yeah, we went back to yellow. I don't think everybody was wrong. I think Jeremiah said maybe, did anybody? Yeah. Jeremiah, Frag said yellow. Who else said yellow? Yep. All right. Thanks there, Frag. All right, a few drops over here. Excuse me. Reaper, if I don't scroll up, you're all right. Here we go. Let's add a little bit of acid to this one over here on the left. Hey, Denise, thanks. Thanks for the support. You folks just being on here supporting off. I just enjoy doing this stuff. Gives me something to do. I'm an old man in my basement. Oh, very nice. I tell you what, I think I'm going to need to shut it down. I got to shut my brain down, because if I stay hyped up like this, I'm not going to get to sleep tonight, and then I'm going to be cranky tomorrow. So I'll tell you what I do at the end of each live. I'll flip the camera around, let you see my ugly mug. Just letting you know, I'm an old 57-year-old man in my basement. If that's not something you want to see, now's the time to get out of here, all right? I'm going to go ahead and make this acidic before I turn the camera around and then set up the rainbow. Thank you there, SRA 3J. All right. Turn that off. All right, here we go. Flip her around. So how's everybody doing here? Just saying hi. Hello, Reaper. Thanks there, Reese's. Appreciate it. I try to stay fit, exercise, lift weights, eat right, live clean. Still had a heart attack a couple years ago. Genes, the genes are going to do it to you. That's right, Frag. The happiest mad scientist you'll ever meet. Thanks, there, Reaper. Thanks for joining in tonight. Ha! I hear Tom Cruise, huh? Maybe I'm the Tom Cruise of chemistry. What a nice compliment. Thank you. Thanks there, Janelle. Thanks there, local. Yeah, Rhesus. Anyone else? Thank you there, my boy. Anyone else have heart issues? Or any other issues you're going to start preaching about? This is a science channel, man. Glad to hear that. Good to hear, SRA3J. What's up, Sebastian? Hello, X Happy Boy from Pakistan. Someone's got asthma. Yeah, that can be scary for sure. All health issues are scary, man. Oh, sorry there, Reaper. ED for females, tough to deal with, but yeah, sure. Maybe check out Reaper's channel if you're dealing with issues like that. Hey, Massimino or Massimo, thank you. Frag's got some lung issues. Good to hear, Quais. I apologize, Hasib, if I'm not saying your name correctly. Feel free to correct me. All right, I'm going to flip this around because I just want you to, I want to try to set up that rainbow tower one more time before I head out. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go 6 and just see what happens. Let's just see. Tanisha's moving to the U.S. or United Kingdom from India. Great. I hope that goes well. You got it, Reaper. We all are a little bit broken in some way or another. Frag is going to be the next Walter White. Look at those colors. Come on, y'all. Look at those stinking colors developing down there at the bottom. It is like the Northern Lights for a bit. So Hasib, we are watching. What I've done is I've added universal indicator to this flask. It's also known as rainbow indicator. Yeah, it is like a pearlescent color. What a great description, Reaper. And then I added, I added a bunch of acid to make the pH 3, which is going to be red. And then I added base, which is more dense. The base fluid is more dense than the acid fluid. And that, that base sinks, but it neutralizes the acid and actually overcomes it down here, which is why we have violet indicating pH 10, very basic at the bottom. But we end up getting a gradient. We get a pH gradient, pH 10. It just follows the colors here, right? Just follows the colors, pH 10, 9, 8. The green is 7. The 6 is yellow. We get a little slab of orange here at pH 4 and 5, and then pH 3 at the top. That's what we're doing there. So, yeah, it's pretty. It's kind of pretty. We'll flip this back around, say hello to folks. As I'm finishing up, is it a way to disrupt the color in order? Yeah, I just turned the stir bar back on. I don't think I understand your question, though. It does look drinkable, but you don't want to do it because one of the dyes in the indicator is a laxative. So we'll go like this, and we'll put that user in timeout for 24 hours, just like that. Isn't that interesting? Any tips for getting a bachelor's in chemistry? I've been 2 years delayed. So, Detective John, any tip for getting through your bachelor's in chemistry? Find a way to love it, man. And if you don't love it, then just, it's like any other skill in life. When we human beings want to get good at something, we practice it. And, I get students coming to me all the time asking me how they can improve in the class. And I tell them the same thing. You've got to dig into the problems and do a lot of problems. And the more problems you do, the better off you're going to be. And a lot of students, find success that way. But it does, it's like anything else. You want to be good at it, you got to discipline yourself. You got to spend the time doing it. Ibrahim is there in Nigeria. Making some nice colors. You're welcome, Ibrahim. Thanks for commenting. Come on, my boy. What kind of acid is it? Iani, I am adding hydrochloric acid, which is HCl is sort of the symbol for it. It's the same acid that's found in your stomach. Work hard and you'll pass. You got it. Hey, thanks there, detective. Great to have you on board from the Philippines. It is like a honey jar. It is like a honey jar. It's just that we can make it with acid-base chemistry. Look at what that's looking like, folks. Isn't that just beautiful? All right. Well, pardon me. I need to. Kylie says, science is so awesome. Never fails to blow my mind. Thank you for sharing this with us. Come on, Kylie. Yeah, it's so appreciated. Hello there, Minecrafter. Hello there, Reaper. The cleanup's entertaining. It is. Kylie, what a nice gift. Much appreciated. I'm blown away by your all's generosity tonight. I really am. Hasib, thank you for the subscription. Kylie, thank you for the gift. It makes me want to do this kind of stuff. And y'all, if you like these kinds of experiments, I'll keep doing them. If you want me to do something different, I have other experiments planned as well that we can do some other time. And none of this has anything to do with radioactivity, so we don't have to worry about any of that. Goranchilla, hello. Thank you there, Reaper. Thank you there, Reaper. I appreciate that. And I'm just going to leave this for you to look at here just for a bit. I'm going to turn this on and let it spin. I'm going to shut up. And, after we see it all homogenized to a particular color, I'm going to call it a night. So thanks for enjoying some of the beauty of science with me tonight. And it's all around us. The universe is so beautiful, so wonderful. And the fact that we get to understand some of the crap that goes on just makes it all the more interesting. So here we go. Y'all have a great night. Of course, it's stinking yellow. Every time. See you.